Everyone who's following these proceedings. As I said yesterday, my name is Mvabadu Mezweni, the secretary of the committee. I'm sitting here to chair this session of the election of the first chairperson of the committee on the presidency. I think, in fact, the meeting was supposed to have started at 1 o'clock, but due to the fact that there was ad hoc committee that was still here using the same venue, so we couldn't start on time. However, I think the time now is 1:05, and looking at the things, we do have a quorum, and that gives us powers to start the meeting because we do have the quorum. The notice and the agenda, the members will forgive us for the agenda that is not flighted. We're still trying to get hold of other colleagues, household and others to set up the venue for us. But we'll try to continue in the interest of time. So the agenda that we have, that was shared with members yesterday, indicates that we are going to be dealing with 5 items, of which the first one will be opening and welcoming, which is what I'm doing. From there, we are going to adopt the agenda. Item number 3 will be the election of the chairperson. Item number 4 will be the remarks by the newly elected chairperson, and then it's going to be the closure. Now, before we move any further, I would like to make this remark that yesterday we're here to conduct the business, and the business was this that we are still here for, which is to elect the chairperson of this committee. But due to the issues around the rules, we had to suspend the proceedings and go and seek some advices so that we can achieve the goal that we intend to achieve. So yesterday afternoon, we had an extensive meeting. The meeting was between the committee section, NA table, and legal services. After that meeting, this morning we sent an advisory note to members, which were clarifying all the gray areas or the areas that were particularly, in fact, that limited us or that prevented us to proceed with the business of yesterday. So before we adopt the agenda, I would love to read the note for. Sorry, it was sent. Okay, thanks so much. Instead of reading it because of time and everything, I would love to believe that all members got the advisory note. If there's any member, that member is requested to indicate so that the note can be shared. Then, with that being said, honorable members, I think we must go to item number 2, which is the adoption of the agenda and the apologies. Honorable Mahlauli.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and greetings to everybody. In the agenda, there is an item that says election of a chairperson. And yesterday we agreed that we are postponing the session because we are going to meet for the explanation of an issue that surrounded Honorable George for seconding himself. I thought we are here to clarify that issue when we left yesterday, to clarify that issue, and if that issue is not an issue that hinders yesterday's election, we declare the election. What is this thing of having elections that we had yesterday? Because after that issue, what needs to happen is the declaration of yesterday's outcome. Can you give us guidance? So I'm not comfortable with adopting the agenda as it is without an explanation. Why is that item in the agenda?
Thank you, Honorable Mahlaul. When I started, not at times, when I started, I indicated that there was an advisory note that was shared with members. The advisory note gives all the relevant information and all the details. In fact, it explains exactly what you are asking, Honorable Member. Hence, I asked if there's any member who didn't receive the note so that it could be shared with the members. So my assumption, and in fact the reading of the situation, was that all the members indeed did receive the note and they read it, whether comfortable or not, but my understanding was that they did receive the note. So with note being received, that is the advisory note, I thought that we can proceed under the impression that members read and understood everything that was clear, that was explained and forming part of that note. Thank you. Honorable Daniels and Honorable Trollip.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I am honestly in the dark about this note. I have seen a note that was shown to me by one of my colleagues in the corridors. I have not officially seen any other communication. Now, I'm assuming that that is the note that you're making reference to, and my assumptions may also very well be wrong. And what I saw also, to me, there's like some rules that was put there. I didn't make any reference to whether it was law. So I don't know how long this note is that you're making reference to, Honorable Chair. I don't know how much time it will take for you to read that. But I think for my comfort and the indulgence of you and the rest of my colleagues, I would like you to, if not read the entire note, touch on the important aspects that give us clarity to the questions that were raised yesterday. Thank you.
Honorable Trollip.
Covered, Chair, by what Honourable Daniels has just said, but sending an explanatory note to a committee and expecting us to just accept it, I think is a bit far-fetched. Talk us through the explanatory note. We see Mr. Klaasel is here. Explain to us what that note means, why the decisions have been made, and based on what law. I believe you must take us through it step by step. Sending us a note and expecting us to have just read the explanatory note and take it as a given doesn't work in Parliament.
Thank you. I'll give you Mr. Klaasel, but let's start with Honorable Maumapelo.
Thank you, President Chair. An explanatory note cannot overrule a decision of a meeting. It can't. Then there's no need to have portfolio committees. In Parliament, we can just run Parliament based on explanatory notes. So the minutes of yesterday, the proceedings of yesterday will demonstrate at the end what was the decision taken in the meeting, and it can't be overruled by an explanatory note. I'm sorry. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Klaasel.
Honourable members, we are happy to just go through the salient points of the note that we've developed. I've got my colleagues here from my department, and I've also got a colleague from legal services. I'm just trying to figure out where I should begin. But this is what occurred yesterday during this meeting. It was reported to us that there were 3 nominations for the position of chairperson. That Honourable Nodada nominated Honourable Michalakis, and Honourable Michalakis seconded his own nomination, and then his name was put forward for vote, and 2 members voted in his favour, and Honourable Matthias nominated Honourable Mokoena Zondi. The nomination was seconded by Honourable Mahlatsi, and when the nomination was put, 4 members supported the name. And Honourable Ramo Lobeng nominated Honourable Mpapane. The name was put to the vote, and 5 members were able to support that nomination. Now, a few questions arose in the course of the proceedings yesterday. The first one was the co-option of Honorable Matiase in terms of Rule 163, where a chairperson of a committee could co-opt a member. There was also a question about whether alternate members can step in as members when a specific permanent member is absent. So let me start with the alternate member issues. The rules are clear that where the substantive appointment, the member, is not present, the alternate has the powers of that member, of a full member of a committee. They can vote, they can participate, they can do everything. The issue then was whether a committee secretary could co-opt a member. And our view is that a committee secretary is not necessarily the chairperson as the rules envisage. That the chairperson spoken of here would be a person appointed, elected, an elected office bearer, who would have the power to take such decisions. And on that basis, a committee secretary does not have the powers to co-opt a member. In any event, the guidelines that had been sent to members prior to the meeting are clear that co-option is not an option in this regard. So the advisory note says, let's stick with the guidelines, but also let's stick with the intention of the rules that an official cannot co-opt a member. Only an elected office bearer can do that. Then the advisory note dealt with the issue of the secondment, whether a member can second their own nomination. Point 15 of the note that we circulated, honorable members, and we apologize that you only got it this morning. It was meant to be with you yesterday already, is that although self-nomination is allowed in some respects, self-seconding is not, as the purpose of the latter is found in the action of establishing whether there is independent support for a candidate other than themselves. Phrased differently, it amounts to a form of validation of someone's nomination. And logic dictates that you cannot validate yourself. You must be validated by another. Putting your hand up for consideration by way of self-nomination is then distinguishable, as that is merely indicating that you wish to be considered, but does not go so far as validating your own nomination. Honorable members should be aware that the rules cannot provide for every eventuality, and therefore the rules applicable to meeting procedure would also be applicable in these instances. And that is where we derive the issue around nomination. And this is a view that has been conversed with legal services, and it's a view that we stand by procedurally and legally. And therefore, the take is that both the co-option of Honorable Matiase and the self-secondment by the Honorable Michalakis would have been irregularities in this regard. Now, there's a point that deals with quorum requirement versus majority voting, where NA Rule 162 sets out the quorum requirements. A majority of the members of a committee must be present for it to decide. And we note that yesterday there were 11 members, and therefore the quorum would have been 6 members. But because the participation of Honorable Matiase was irregular as far as we are concerned, that already tainted that process of yesterday. And also the secondment of the Honorable Michalakis would have tainted the process of yesterday as well. Now, our conclusion is that whereas if you did not have these two issues, we believe that the one who obtained 5 votes would have won the day yesterday, elected as chairperson. But we think that it is important to maintain the integrity, to preserve the integrity of parliamentary processes, which includes committee processes and House processes. Where there is doubt, it is important to err on the side of caution. And therefore, our view, our advice is that in light of these procedural mishaps of yesterday, that this process should be rerun. And we don't think that, we think that is the best route to deal with it. That is our advice. That is our position, legally and procedurally. And that is why, honorable members, we are here. So again, I've apologized that you got the note only this morning. That's what informs our approach that this meeting should be for the election of the chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Klaso. There is the explanation from Mr. Klaso, honorable members. I would love to see if there's any comment or any objection to what Mr. Klaso has just reported to the committee. Honorable Malema, followed by Honorable Daniels.
Thank you, Chair. Given the fact that we just got this morning and we're meeting now, physically for the first time as members of the committee, I would suggest that we get a 5 minutes break so that we can exchange notes and then maybe we can find each other before we proceed, given that note that was just read out. Thanks.
Honorable Daniels.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I just want to ask Chairperson for clarity, for my understanding, then is, because I hear now by Honorable Kasa that we are starting afresh. So the clarity that I seek is, I held the view that this is a continuation of a meeting that's been suspended, and that the findings that has been presented by Mr. Kasa will then be factored in, and we will rule from there. Please guide me as to why it is not the case as far as my understanding goes. Because is there a rule that prescribes your submission that you made through you, Chairperson, that Mr. Kasa made? Is there a rule that prescribes that, or is it just a finding amongst themselves? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Before I rule on Honorable Malema's request, I would love to give Mr. Klaso before so that he explains, and then I will give a ruling after that. Thank you.
Honorable members, we have a precedent, maybe not in respect of committee proceedings, but in respect of the House. During voting, where there is doubt, the rules dictate that. It says, if in the opinion of the presiding officer, there is confusion or error concerning a division, the presiding officer may direct that another division must take place. Now, I think for us, it's logic that when the process is, in our view, tainted, it must be rerun. We don't have another option. That is our advice, at least. And that is the advice that we'll give even to the Speaker concerning this matter. We think it is the best way to cure what we consider to be irregularities of yesterday. Thank you.
Honorable Trolip and Honorable Mahumupil.
Chair, I think I certainly agree with what Mr. Klaso has said. But in any event, if there's any doubt about that, the result of the voting yesterday did not deliver a result. So we have to vote again anyway.
Thank you. Honorable Mahumupil.
Thank you, Chair. It's just a question. Yesterday, as part of the proceedings, Honorable Makalaikis here said to us categorically that he did extensive consultation before he arrived at the conclusion to do self-secondment. And he was advised by Parliament that there's nothing wrong as he qualified that. It didn't just come from him. He approached the institution And the institution said, no, there's no problem. So I just want to know, the same institution now today is saying there is a problem. So between what was said yesterday to Honorable Mekalaikis and us here today, here in the meeting, through the note, which one must we take? Why was Honorable Member given the advice that there's nothing wrong? Because it means whoever gave him the advice misled him, because he wouldn't have taken that route which then is delaying us and putting us where we are here today. He got the advice from the institution. Thank you, Chair.
Honor, I've noted, Honorable Makalajis. Mr. Klaus, I would love you to respond after Mr. Makalajis.
Thank you, Chair. I can happily clarify that. Yesterday morning, I spoke to both Mr. Castle and Ms. Lyons. I asked them whether it is possible. The indication that they gave was that there is nothing in the rules that allows it. There's also nothing in the rules that permits it. But both of them have qualified, and hopefully they will be able to state it as well, that they haven't, at the time that I phoned them, had an opportunity to do extensive research. This is a on the face value opinion that they've given me, which is the opinion that they have given me. They have now had the chance to actually go and do some research, and that's hopefully what their finding was based on. But as we do from time to time, we phone the table, we ask them for advice. They give advice, but they do indicate that it's on short notice, so it is a prima facie opinion, but it is not one that is properly researched. That was all that we were able to do in the time frame that we had. I have played open cards with the committee and indicated to them what their advice was, and that was the basis on which the advice was. At no point did Mr. Castle or Ms. Lyons pretend that the information that they gave me was well researched or in-depth research, because they simply didn't have the time. Thank you.
Honorable Notata, sorry, Mr. Klaus.
No, thank you so much, Chair. Chair, I think we've gotten to a point whereby now we've got a note that is guided by the rules. And I think it's important for us to know that procedurally, for us to have a free, fair, and credible election, we must be able to clear out any form of doubt in those elections. And I think this particular note gives us that information. And we now need to make sure that we run a credible process to make sure that it's free, fair, and credible to be able to elect the chairperson that we need to elect here today. And I don't think that the other debates about what was said yesterday, this and that, there's a clarity, it's on the table, it's there, and it's given to us. As for what was said yesterday and this and that, it's just delaying the process. And I think that what was requested of the 5 minutes can be granted for those that want to understand, and then we move on with the business of the day. Thanks.
I'll give you Mr. Kaso, and I think after that we can go and have this 5 minutes break after we have clarified that.
Thank you. Look, I think the matter is settled. We talk to members all the time about these issues, but I think Honorable Mekhalakis has explained it. Thank you so much.
Honorable members, as Honorable Malima has requested, I think we can give the honorable members an opportunity to go have their caucus, and because we have said this meeting is going to be a duration of an hour, I think we must be back around, in fact, at 25 to 2. Thank you. Now, I would suggest that now we go back to the agenda, and now we request that the members move for the adoption of the agenda, and then we go to the next item.
Chair, I move for the adoption of the agenda.
Honourable Trolip. Thank you, honourable members. The agenda is adopted. Honourable member.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question. Can I ask? A generic question
Yes,
for
you can.
clarity.
Yes, you can.
Thank you. I would like to know or be clarified as to what conforms a majority when we vote. Are we voting for a majority as a committee, as a numbers of, or in a committee? What confines or what actually entails majority? Just before we vote, I just need that clarity.
According to the guidelines that were sent with the members, the procedural guidelines, it is indicated that the majority in this instance is the majority of the voting members. Meaning that in the instance whereby you've got about 7 members and about 4 of them vote for a certain member, the member who got 4 got the majority of votes because the members who were voting at that time voted for a particular member. It is different from the position whereby you're going to have a majority on the basis of a quorum, whereby the majority will be 6. But then the guidelines speak to the voting members. So the majority is defined as based on the number of the members who are going to vote. Because the meeting is correcting already. Thank you. Honourable Troller.
Chairperson, we need to get that in a proper ruling, not about 7 members and 4 wins. Parliamentary committees are made up of odd numbers, for a very good reason. You need a majority, 50% plus 1, to elect somebody. So read what the rules say, not what you think, and tell us what the rule will be with 11 voting members. What is the required majority to elect somebody?
Thank you, Honourable Trolley. Mr. Council, I'll request you to advise, and I will take the hand of Honourable Mahlaule, but I'll request Mr. Council to explain. Maybe he will cover your question as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable members, the quorum would be 50 plus 1. And suppose, and maybe I'm going back to what the point that Honourable Frederick you had queried. Suppose you had 8 members present. The meeting is correct, can vote, and the majority of the vote cast would be that candidate is the one that would win. In fact, that's what the Constitution says. So even in this instance, the majority of the vote cast would be that candidate would be the one that wins. So that's Section 53 of the Constitution. Sabi, so you read for me?
It's not like a by-election where a simple majority will win a seat. Committees in Parliament are made up of odd numbers for a very specific reason.
Yes.
It's a deadlock-breaking mechanism.
Yeah.
So please, let's read the parliamentary rules and the Constitution.
All right. Maybe let me just, okay, you should check the rules. Section 53 says of the Constitution, except where the Constitution provides otherwise, a majority of the members of the NA must be present before a vote may be taken on a bill or an amendment. B says, I hope members can still hear me. At least 1/3 of the members must be present before a vote may be taken on any other business. C, all questions before the assembly are decided by a majority of the votes cast. Now, Rules 162. A committee at all times requires at least 1/3 of its members to be present for it to conduct any business. A majority of the members of a committee must be present for it to decide any question. So here we have 11 members, that is the members of this committee. 6 members must be present before a decision may be taken in terms of this rule. So a majority of those votes cast of that 6 would win the day. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mahlaule, then Honorable Malema.
No, I'm covered by what Mr. Tasso is saying. But initially, I wanted to say we may need to make a choice whether we're accepting these guidelines or not. We can't accept aspects of the guidelines and we leave other aspects of the guidelines because we have said, all of us here, they are interpreting the law where it's absent. And we all agreed that let's take them as they are because there's no law governing that. So if you want to invite us into dealing with aspects of the guidelines, we also have issues in the guidelines, but we decided to accept them because they guide where there is no law to interpret what we're doing here. So let's accept that and move on as suggested before Honorable Malema asked for 5 minutes. Thank you.
Honorable Malema.
Chair, my problem is that the table staff is giving us examples of numbers. We don't need examples of numbers. We're 11 here now, voting members of this committee. How many numbers will a winning candidate need in the context of this meeting that we're sitting in now to elect a chairperson?
Honorable Daniels.
Thank you, Chairperson. It's very simple. If you want to refer the House to the outcome of yesterday's result, albeit it doesn't, not carrying any weight for now. But if you reflect on yesterday's results, 5, 4, and 2, in the scenario of 11 that constitutes this committee, what happens if that result happens today? Where will it leave us? Simply put, straight to the point. Because there's this issue about, is it a majority of 6? Is it a quorum which constitutes 6? Because if the quorum constitutes 6, meaning we must proceed with the business of the day. And if this is on the agenda item and proceed with the business of the day, what happens then? So if the outcome is yesterday's results, where does it leave us?
All right. Suppose we have 2 candidates. I'll come to your argument yesterday. The majority of that, and say 6 vote for those 6 vote for one candidate, and 5 vote for the other. The one who got the 6 will win the day. Let's take yesterday's scenario. Our view, if you interpret what I've read in the Constitution.
Sorry, Chairperson. I just want to, all respectful so. I'm making reference to yesterday's outcome. There's a quorum. There's 5, 4, and 2. What if that is the outcome today?
The majority of the votes cast, the one who had the 5. That's our position.
I believe members are satisfied. Now we are moving to the next item, and that is the election of the chairperson. Before we do that, we will request, in fact, we'll call for nominations. And when a member nominates that particular member, we request that he or she states his full name on record. And even the seconder will do the same. The nominee will do the same, will state the full names and also indicate whether he or she accepts or rejects the nomination. I would love to see hands. Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Khomotso Nsia Ramolobeng. I would like to nominate Honorable Doris Mpapane for the election of the committee chairperson. Thank you.
Any seconder?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Marlon Daniels, I would like to second the nomination of Honorable Doris Mpopane. Thank you.
Is that a point of order, Honorable Member? Oh, sorry. Honorable Papane, do you accept the nomination?
Thank you, Chair. I do accept the nomination.
Okay. Any other nominations? Yes. Honorable Mukwena?
Thank you, Chair. My name is Mabatu Mukwena Zondi. I hereby nominate Honorable Trolip as Chair.
Okay. Any second? Honorable Mahlatsi?
Thank you very much. My name is Wanda Mahlatsi. I second the nomination of Ethel Trollip. Thank you.
Honorable Frolik, do you accept the nomination? Trolip, sorry.
I, Ethel Trollip, accept the nomination, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Any other nomination?
Thank you so much, Chair. Baxolile Nodada, I nominate myself.
And the second?
George Michalakis, I second the nomination of Honorable Nodada. Thank you.
Mr. Honorable Nota, do you accept your nomination?
Fully.
Thank you. Yeah, let's move forward. So the next phase is that right now we will start with Honorable Mpapane. Those who are voting in favor or who would love Ms. Mpapane to be the chairperson of the committee are requested to do that by show of hands. Okay, thank you, honorable members. Those members who would love, in fact, who would love to vote for Honorable Trolip are requested to show the hand. Thank you. Those who are in favor or who would love to vote for Honorable Notat are requested to show their hands. Thank you so much, honorable members. Now, I will move on to announce the results. For Honorable Mpapane, 5 members voted in favor of Honorable Mpapane. For Honorable Trolip, 4 members voted for Honorable Trolip. And for Honorable Notata, 2 members voted for him. And therefore, it qualifies to be that Honorable Mpapane is the chairperson of the committee. She may come forward to take her seat.
Thank you.
Honorable Chairperson, I want clarity, please. Was that alarm bell waiting for the announcement to stop, or was it? Was this rehearsed?
Thank you very much, honorable members. For your trust in me to be the chairperson of this committee. What I'll promise this committee is that we will work well together, like we do in other committees where one is chairing. In all the committees, I have never been partisan, and I promise not to be partisan. This committee, let me say that I'm blessed because I'm surrounded by experienced men and women who are honorable members of parliament. In here, we have chief whips of committees, of parties. We have chairpersons of committees, and also a leader of a political party. So whenever we commit mistakes during the execution of our responsibilities, I'm one person who's always willing to learn from those mistakes and take criticisms when they are thrown at me. Honorable members, we will make sure that notices of meetings of this committee will be issued well on time. Communications will make sure that it flows. With those few words, thank you very much, honorable members. God bless you. You will bear with me, honorable members. I'm still new in this role. I'm used to playing the back line, so I rely on yourselves, honorable members, to hold me by hand when you do this. The meeting stands adjourned.